Thanks for joining us for the Member xCite presentation. The Member xCite presentation is informative, interesting to the audience, and showcases the strengths of the presenter as an entrepreneur and their area of expertise. It's not a sales pitch, it's a 10-minute educational and insightful exploration into what they do. And of course, it's exciting.
So today we have the immense pleasure of hearing from Dennis Hall, mastering the 4 critical rules of self-management. Realizing your full potential requires effective personal management. Having the right mindset helps you control your life and build meaningful interpersonal relationships in the pursuit of your passion and purpose. Mastering the 4 rules of self-management allows you to live a more fulfilled life. For those who don't know who Dennis is, he is the author of If 70 is the New 50, When Do I Get to Retire? And a micro-business growth strategist. He does what he does because his passion is to give individuals and local businesses the ability to control their future. His philosophy is why work in a business that ties you down and stresses you out when you could just as easily work at something you love so that you can enjoy your dream lifestyle. His book lifts the lid on retirement myth and shows people how to create their ideal lifestyle at any age.
Okay, today I'm going to be talking about mastering the 4 critical rules of self-management. Self-management is that very critical skill of being able to control more of your life. For most of us, we've been very used to following rules. Rules that are set through family associations, rules that are set through work, rules that are set through overall society. And there's nothing wrong with following rules, but we just need to understand when we're allowed to bend them, break them, and make our own. And really, that's what mastering these 4 critical rules of self-management is all about. Our next few minutes, and I don't have a lot of time, is going to be covering why personal management is so important, the 4 rules of self-management, the self-management mantra, and why mindset is such a critical element in all of this. So I've just got 10 minutes. It's not long enough, but it's all I've got. So let's get into it. Having the right mindset is really critical in helping you exercise more control over your life and being able to build meaningful interpersonal relationships in pursuit of your passion, whatever that passion may be. Personal management is a critical skill in our fast-paced and challenging world. It's the process that's going to allow you to achieve your goals and dreams. The bottom line is that if you are not managing yourself, someone else is going to be, and you can't guarantee that that third party is going to have your best interests at heart. So let's take a look at these 4 critical rules of self-management. I call it the load bearers. And rule number 1 is all about your life map. Rule number 2 is being organized. Rule number 3 covers off on the assumptions that you're making in the decisions that you're coming to. And rule number 4 is all about development, self-development, the continual lifelong learning journey. Let's have a look at each of those in just a little bit more detail. So your life map is who you are, where you're coming from, where you plan to go. This is your centering mechanism, I guess. And if you ever feel a little bit lost or a little bit confused as to where you are and where you're going, having a life map helps you recenter and refocus yourself. Now, a life map isn't supposed to be a straitjacket. It's not something that dictates that you must do this, this, and this in order to achieve what you've set out, because life is all about change. So your life map does need to be flexible. But by having a life map, you're able to navigate change far better because that map prevents aimless wandering. Organizing yourself is also a critical skill and an essential rule in being able to engage fully with self-management. You have to be able to take more control of your time, because your time, and a couple of people in our 40-second intros mentioned this, your time is your most valuable asset. It is, in fact, the only resource on the planet that is non-renewable. We all have the same amount of time. There are 24 hours in a day, there are 7 days in a week, and they are not making any more time. So you've got to make the most of the time that you're given. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by being organized. You also need to be able to verify and check your assumptions. You've got to review your assumptions regularly. Life changes, the world moves, and it moves at a very fast pace. And assumptions that were perfectly reasonable and effective even as little as 3 months ago may not be so effective today. So you've got to understand two things. One, when are you making assumptions? And two, are those assumptions valid? Assumptions are an essential part of everyday life, and we're making dozens, if not hundreds, of assumptions every single day. And therein lies the danger with assumptions. We make so many of them that at times we don't identify that, in fact, that's what we're doing. Assumptions are not definitive. They can be inaccurate. So you've got to be able to verify your assumptions if you expect your strategies to develop and execute your life plan to actually work. You also need to be able to develop yourself. You've got to be able to set aside time to read, to improve yourself, to analyze. Learning is a lifelong journey. Work on improving your imagination. Work on challenging your processes. Invest in your ongoing learning. You know, BX is a great resource for expanding your network. It's an example of how you invest not only in your business, but also in yourself. And they're the sorts of things that you need to be constantly on the lookout for in terms of being able to continue your development journey. You never stop learning. And the people that never stop learning are usually those people that enjoy the most success. Amongst all of this, there's no point in following the 4 critical rules of self-management if you're not prepared to take responsibility. Let's face it, it doesn't matter how detailed your plan is. It doesn't matter how many scenario B, C, D, E, F, Gs you've got. Doesn't matter how many fallback positions you've got. Not everything is going to go according to your plan. When that happens, you must not lay blame for things going wrong on other people, your environment, bad luck, or other external forces. It is really easy to point the finger away from yourself and say, it wasn't my fault because of this. Well, for as long as you're doing that and not taking responsibility for the consequences of your choices, you're not able to move forward. You're not able to learn. You're not able to improve. The bottom line is mistakes are going to be made. But here's the thing. Mistakes aren't really mistakes. They are just learning opportunities. And you have to be able to accept that. You have to be able to take that responsibility in order to learn the lesson you need to be able to move forward and achieve a different result. Your mindset in all of this is absolutely critical. It can either be your most significant asset or your greatest liability. The best part of mindset is that it is totally up to you which it is. If it's to be an asset, you have to make it so. Because if you don't, it will very quickly become a liability. A positive mindset combined with a strong will lead to a more fulfilled life. The extent of your personal integrity is a measure for your will or determination. And integrity is simply your ability to make commitments and see them through. You decide what you are going to think in any given situation or any given moment. And that decision, in terms of what you're going to think, will lead to a flow of thoughts and how you're feeling. The right mindset is the cornerstone for everything that you're going to do in life. You're not always going to be successful. You're not always going to hit every goal that you set for yourself. Setbacks are a test. They are not a result. Learn your lessons and keep moving forward. Experience is the test that you get before you actually have the knowledge to carry it out. At school, we learn the lesson and we have the test. But in life, we have the test and we learn the lesson. You need to combine your positive mindset with your determination or willpower and manage that through strong personal self-management. These are the building blocks for success. Apply the 4 rules. Do not compromise your integrity, and success will be your reward. And remember, self-management and mindset always go hand in hand. Now, according to my timer, I'm just about out. So I would like to say thank you for your attention. And I hope that you've got something out of the presentation.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Dennis. I really enjoyed that. Maybe let's unshare the screen so we can go back to the gallery view. But really greatly executed and greatly prepared presentation, full of great insights for this month's topic of mindset. Now, I'm sure that everybody has a few questions, so I'd love to hand over to the audience to ask Dennis a question or two. Does anybody want to start? Feel free to just put your hand up in the participants bar, or just put your hand up physically and I'll find you. Any questions? No one yet. Well, Dennis, I'm going to ask you a question. I mean, what prompted you to start really thinking and diving into this topic?
Look, it's been a lifelong journey, Darren. I guess the early 1980s was when I was first faced with having to accept that the reason I wasn't achieving the success I wanted was down to me. I was very fond of pointing the finger and blaming all sorts of other people. But I was fortunate to have a mentor come into my life that really gave me a wake-up call. And that started my learning journey in this space. So, close to 40 years worth now. Wow, well done. So important. I mean, self-awareness is so important. One of my favorite topics. But we've got one quick question from Sandy Bartlett, and then I think we've got to move on because we've got quite a big group today. But Sandy, go for it.
Fabulous. Thanks for that, Darren. Dennis, congratulations. That was amazing. Just one quick question. How do you feel about habits?
Look, I think habits are very useful. They're time-saving because a habit you don't have to think about, but they're like assumptions. You've got to check them all the time. Habits are formed as a response to something that's happening in our environment, right? So the moment that stops happening in our environment is the time to stop that habit. But often people maintain a habit long after it's used by date, right? So you've got to check your habits along with checking your assumptions.
Fabulous. Thank you.
I love it. Well done. Well, everybody, big round of applause to Dennis Hall. I think